The ocean is the most mysterious place on Earth. It hides secrets older than humanity, shadows that crawl just beneath the surface, and legends whispered by sailors who rarely lived long enough to tell the full story. But here's the chilling part. Many of those mythical sea monsters weren't made up. They were inspired by real creatures, creatures so bizarre, so powerful, and so terrifying that ancient humans could only describe them as monsters. Today, we're uncovering 5 forgotten sea creatures that inspired terrifying myths, and every single one of them once swam the same oceans we still swim in today. 1. The Charybdis, the real-life ocean devourer. In Greek mythology, the Charybdis was a giant sea demon that swallowed the ocean itself, creating whirlpools that sank entire fleets. But here's what ancient sailors were actually witnessing. Massive underwater vortexes caused by one of the most powerful sea forces on the planet, tidal whirlpools. Specifically, the monstrous Moskströmen vortex in Norway, to sailors of ancient times. Watching a 40-meter wide whirlpool form out of nowhere, hearing the roar of the ocean dragging ships into an invisible mouth. It didn't look like nature. It looked alive. Survivors claimed it ate the sea, and in a way, it did. 2. The Basilosaurus, the real sea dragon. Legends tell of a giant serpent dragon swimming through ancient oceans, devouring anything in its path. But fossils reveal something even stranger. A prehistoric whale, shaped like a massive snake, with a 60-foot body, a skull filled with razor-sharp bone-crushing teeth, and a serpentine motion unlike any whale alive today. Imagine a creature the length of an entire house, writhing through the water like an eel. When its fossils were first discovered, scientists thought it was a sea serpent, not a mammal. Ancient cultures who saw its bones rising from eroded shorelines weren't imagining monsters. They were seeing the remains of one. 3. The Tani, inspired by one of the deadliest sharks ever in Bori mythology. The Tanawa were guardian monsters lurking around reefs, caves, and deep waters. Some protected people, others dragged them into the depths. For decades, people debated whether Tanawa stories were symbolic. Then paleontologists discovered Carcharodontos angustidens, a massive prehistoric shark that lived in New Zealand waters. This thing was longer than a bus, almost as powerful as Megalodon. Now, to lurk around coastal cliffs and river mouths sound familiar to a tribe watching a giant shadow circle their canoe. The Tanawa wasn't a metaphor, it was the most terrifying predator the ocean ever created. 4. The aswang fish, a nightmare that was real in Philippine folklore. Fishermen feared the aswang fish, a creature that howled like a crying woman and dragged swimmers underwater. For centuries, many believed it was a myth, but the truth is far more disturbing. The legend was inspired by the basking shark, one of the strangest, most corpse-like animals on Earth. When a basking shark decomposes, its body changes shape. The jaw rots away, the spine curves, the gills collapse. What's left looks horrifyingly humanoid. So when fishermen found these corpses washed ashore, they believed they'd found monsters that used to disguise themselves as humans. And the sounds people heard at night, those were echoing vibrations from giant rays. Another terrifying misinterpretation. But to the people who lived these experiences, it wasn't science, it was survival. 5. Thalassemedon, the Sea Lord, that ruled the depths. Ancient stories in nearly every culture describe long-necked sea guardians, from Scotland's Kelpie to the Japanese Yumabuza. For centuries, scientists assumed these stories were fictional. Then they discovered Thalassemedon, a massive marine reptile whose name literally means Lord of the Sea, with a neck over 20 feet long, flippers built like giant wings, and a hunting style based on ambush attacks in pitch-black water. This creature could glide silently beneath you, its long shadow mistaken for serpents or ghosts. Its neck rising first, giving the illusion of a creature far larger and stranger than it was. When ancient people saw mysterious ripples, long shapes, or sudden waves, They believed something supernatural was beneath them. Maybe they weren't wrong. The ocean is full of myths, but behind every myth is a truth, a real creature, a real experience, a real fear. From sea dragons to shape-shifting monsters, many fantasy creatures were inspired by real animals. Animals stranger and more terrifying than the legends. And with over 80% of the ocean still unexplored, who knows what new myths are waiting to be discovered. If you want more mysteries of the deep, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that reveal the hidden, darker side of our world. Until next time, stay curious. And remember, some legends are only the beginning of the truth.